Henry, what a goal! Inspiration for Arsenal. Here's Ozil, Lacazette, Ozil! Arsenal are walking in a winter wonderland. Tierney, great run, great goal! What a magnificent goal!
And we're back. Sideline Talk Arsenal is back. It's been a busy few weeks. We've still been producing content, but this feature has taken a bit of a break. The pubs have been open, the shops have been open. The football world has gone mad, but football is back. Arsenal are back playing tomorrow. I'm joined today by Arsenal presser. For those that don't know him, should get to know him. We'll plug his stuff a little bit later on. But first of all, mate, how you doing? You okay?
Yeah, man, I'm doing so good, man. How are you?
Yeah, all good stuff. We're getting closer to the end of the week, so you know it's hard. You can't really be too disappointed. Friday's almost there. But before we get started, if you are watching on YouTube, remember to subscribe and hit that like button. Every little bit does help. We're going to the team is expanding. We've got another new host, as you've probably seen on our medias. So keep looking out for the content. There's going to be plenty of it. How are you? The first thing I'm going to ask is, the first thing I like to ask most people. Obviously, I've seen your stuff, so I know the sort of thing you do. I know how much you do follow the club. What was it that first brought you into the game? What that made you support Arsenal?
Oh man, so it was really it was my dad. My dad, basically, I'm from Nigerian and Ghanaian descent. So my dad, he emigrated here, and you know how it is with ethnic minorities. You know, sometimes they're always attracted to their own on TV when they see them doing well. So at that time, it was Ian Wright that was popping. So he just became attracted. He used to play football in Nigeria, my dad, and he used to follow Dortmund in Germany. But when he came here, it was Arsenal from the first sight of Ian Wright, and that was it. Like he kind of not forced it, but he adopted me and my sister into Arsenal basically straight away. So from birth, I'm in Arsenal pajamas straight away, man. Like no choice. But I grew up in Edmonton, so in North London. But technically, I was born closer to White Hart Lane than Highbury, but it doesn't matter still. I don't really know any Tottenham fans at all growing up. So it was Arsenal straight, man. And that was it. And yeah, I remember the first game really, like truly that I remember supporting as a kid was when we played Middlesbrough in 2001. We were like 1-0 behind. And then I think Perez scored an equalizer. And Ashley Cole scored in like 10 minutes to go. And from that day on, man, that was it. Like Arsenal, I'm stuck with Arsenal. Like I love them so much. That's it, bro.
Yeah, no, I mean, you made the right choice with Arsenal instead of Tottenham, definitely. You've not to dig them, but you've had a little bit more success over the years. There's been more silverware there, especially in those sort of days, like your 2001, 2003, 2004. We all know what happened, but yeah, it sounds good. I always like to find out these things, man. A lot of the time, I like to just know how close people are to the stadium, how much involved they are. But yeah, that's good to hear. I'm glad you made the choice of red anyway.
I know, man. How about you, though? How did you start?
No one, to be fair, I'm glad you are. No one ever asked me that. No, it's good. But basically, so my whole family is United. So it's quite a weird one that I am Arsenal. But my granddad, sort of in his early years, he did play for Arsenal for like in the sort of academy. He's got like little letters from Arsenal and stuff. So I always used to read them. And then my auntie was with a fella that basically he loved Arsenal. He had a season ticket at the time and he didn't have anyone to go with. So I was sort of his little tag along. I thought, well, I like football. Start taking me. And then, it was just a case of I kept going with him. He stopped going as much. I started using his sort of ticket and going with like family, friends, etc. And I mean, my dad always used to tell me that he'd lock me in the shed if I ever supported another team. It didn't happen. I stayed. I kept my wares about me, but I'm glad I did because they're so much easier to follow. I'm not going to ever get to Manchester anytime soon. So no, exactly, I'm born in Hertfordshire, so I mean it's quite the distance. So it worked out well. Emirates is the closest stadium to me, and I've even though it has been tough, I've really not been disappointed too much. I'm glad I'll stick with it, no matter how much pain they cause. If you get what I mean.
Of course, man. Of course, you made the right choice. You can't be a Man United fan from London or anything. That kind of thing.
Don't. I know too many of them. So we'll get cracking. So we'll sort of talk. I first want to there's a one particular elephant in the dressing room at the moment. Basically, there's been a lot of talk, speculation in terms of Bernard Leno. I don't know where this has come from. Maybe just to the fact, not everyone can be as, keepers have their errors. I think we've seen that in a lot of keepers this season. We've seen it in Alisson. Edison's probably really the only one you could say he's sort of kept out through and through and been consistent. What are your thoughts on Leno this season? Obviously, it's a bit of a tough question because of the position we're in. Because we've got a lot of bigger fish to fry. But where do you think he still deserves time, or do you think there is a case where we should get rid of him now before it's too late?
You know what it is with Leno, Like the guy is definitely top quality. Like we can't take away his ability. I know he makes a few mistakes, or if there's a couple of shots that maybe he should have saved or done better with, but the guy is top quality when it comes to shot stopping, 100%. But the main thing is that it seems like he has had his head turned. So it's not really much about us anymore. It's like his own personal ambitions have gone beyond us. A few weeks ago, he said that he's open to everything when his contract ends in 2 years, or he's maybe looking for a new adventure or to stay with Arsenal. He's not sure yet. So that for me sounds like someone who's trying to keep the options open. Maybe his agent has been briefed with a couple of offers. Maybe he's been tapped up, but it feels like his head is turned, man. There's nothing. I don't think there's any way to go back, really, to be honest. With Leno, I don't think he wants to stay, man.
Yeah, it's a tricky situation as well because of the fee that we paid for him, and I think the fact that Martinez left sort of makes people look the other way, if you get what I mean, because they're always comparing him to Martinez at Aston Villa. But I mean, he's been capable of his own mistakes as well. This is what I see. Every keeper is. I know there's a lot of speculation of perhaps selling Leno and keeping Matt Ryan, but I mean, Matt Ryan isn't necessarily the best goalkeeper in the world. He's going to probably have his day where people are gunning for him at the same time where...
Yeah, exactly.
And you're not realistically going to get that sort of money for Leno that we paid for him. And like I said, there's bigger fish to fry. There is so much other situations which we need to sort of work on. In terms of that, are there any sort of players realistically at the moment in time you can see in an Arsenal shirt next season that we should be going for at least anyway?
First of all, before we get onto the transfer targets, like back to Leno quickly, just want to make this point because it's kind of bugging my mind. I won't lie. I don't understand. Have you ever seen like anyone, any kind of transfer rumors, any kind of reports linking him to like a big club like Real Madrid, Barcelona, Bayern Munich? Like I've never seen that kind of interest in him. Just if he wants to go to Bayern Munich, because obviously I know most German people, like German players, that's their dream. That's the pinnacle. But Neuer's still going strong at 35. Then they've got some kid called Alexander Nubel who's meant to be the future. So I don't really know what's in Leno's mind. Like who's talking to him? Like
no one.
I don't get it, bro. I honestly don't get it, man. I don't understand. Like Arteta's shown so much faith in this guy. We sold Emi Martinez like last summer just to choose Leno as a number one. Like this is my number one. And for him to just do this to us, man, it's like a dagger to the heart, man. That's why you don't get attached to players, man. After Fabregas and Nasri left, I kind of just stopped getting attached to these players.
Yeah, no, it's a tricky one really because you never you expect better from him. Like you said, the statement was made loud and clear when Martinez was sold. As soon as Emi left, it was like, right, you're number one, you do your job. And I mean, this season, for even people on his case last week. And to be honest, in the Villarreal game, he made some good saves. We could have been easily 3-4-1 down if it weren't for him. But I think it's just the case that there has been this speculation. And it's just like we expect better from him. And like you said, I can't see him getting any better than where he is at right now. He's getting Premier League football. He's playing week in, week out. Yeah, okay, he's been rested or dropped sometimes, but I don't see him in a bigger club, if I'm being completely honest, because like you said, keepers out there at the moment, even at the highest of ages, they're still delivering. Yeah. And it is going to probably be Germany where he goes. I can't see him anywhere else, really. I don't see that sort of interest coming into him where it's worth sort of moving into a different country. And also for him as well, he needs to get settled in these positions. Like you don't just move to England or move to Italy and have a happy life. You know, you've got to sort of actually want to live there. But it'll be interesting to see what comes from that. If it might just be bluff. I mean, we're going to need to address it at some point. It may just all be nonsense. He's happy. You know, we don't know. But if the cases are true and it is what we believe, then I'd like to see where it goes from here, because obviously Matt Ryan can easily be signed on. Brighton don't seem to have missed him. I was still baffled when they put him on loan because I think he's a great keeper. But if we keep Ryan, that will obviously be a big test for Leno, because it will be like, right, well, we've got him as well now, and Matt Ryan's going to want some sort of stability, and he's going to want to know exactly who is like, he's going to give himself some competition, because at the end of the day, Matt Ryan's a good keeper, Leno's a good keeper. As long as Ryan puts those performances in, it's hard to not play. You've got to play one or the other. You can't just drop one, because it's like, well, I'm doing my bit. But yeah, I hope it's not true, because at the moment there is bigger fish to fry. But we'll go on to that in terms of transfer targets. So obviously it's a bit of a tricky situation at the moment, because we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow night, which we will go on to. But realistically, right now, is there any sort of players you can see in an Arsenal shirt next season? Is there anyone that you look at and think that they could sort of change the game?
To be honest, man, realistically, like I know there's a lot of names. Obviously, there's at right back. Obviously, Hector Bellerin looks like he's leaving this summer. So in terms of the right back links, we got Emerson Royal, we got the Hakimi kid from Inter, we got Max Aarons, Lamptey. Realistically, out of those four, oh god, because you look at Lamptey and Aarons, and you always add that English premium tax. That the transfer fee always goes up by at least another 10-15 mil with those guys, 100%. And then you've got Hakimi, who he's just won the league in Italy. Like I don't see him wanting to go anywhere at all. I think the most realistic one is Emerson Royal. He's on loan at Real Betis from Barcelona, but it looks like Barcelona are willing to sell him they're selling around 20 mil. I wouldn't mind him, man. He's quick, he's strong, he's attacking minded, he's good 1v1. Like I don't mind that for a right back. And then obviously if we're going to midfield, last summer was fun with Hussein Aouar. That was a long summer. That guy. Oh my days. Because we know, because the thing is that obviously Arteta was a massive fan of Aouar, and I think he wanted both Partey and Aouar. But obviously, if the owners and all the stuff that's going on with Kroenke now, and he couldn't provide the funds, he had to go for one of them. But I think Aouar would be perfect if we can get him for like 40 mil, and his agent and his brother's not asking for stupid fees. That'd be amazing. Oh man, that story annoyed me so much. But yeah, man, that'd be amazing. I know Arteta said he wants to go to a 4-3-3, and he says that right now he doesn't have the profile or the players at the moment to do that. So, because usually in the 4-3-3 in midfield, you have that kind of like deep line playmaker, have that kind of box to box destroyer, then you got that creative CM. So if we're looking at, obviously you can play Partey and we can play a deep line playmaker. If we're looking at Bissouma from Brighton.
I see James has just brought him up. Yeah, a lot of people are talking about him. I think it is just because Brighton is that sort of club where you can see someone wanting to move on. But I don't know. I don't know if that's an improvement of Xhaka or even Ceballos, to be honest. I think.
What are you saying? You're a Xhaka fan?
No, I'm not a Xhaka fan. I don't think I've seen enough of Bissouma to sort of think, okay, we're improving. He is a good player, but he's playing around Brighton. You put him in the likes of, he might not, like if you put Xhaka in a Brighton team, how much of a difference do either of them make? Do you get what I mean? Like, and I think Bissouma's going to come at a high value. He's their best player by a mile at the moment.
Yeah, I get you. I think with him, like I said with Arteta, he's looking at that profile of player. He wants that kind of that physicality, strongness in duels, athletic, that pace and power. And I think Bissouma, he fits that. He's good on the ball as well technically. So it's not just like the physical attributes. Like he's good technically as well. And I think, obviously a partnership between him and Partey would be very strong and very daunting for most teams to face. In terms of creativity, I don't know how well they would do, but if you switch to that 4-3-3 and you add another third CM next to them, who's the creative force, I think it could work well, man. Just hopefully they don't ask for like 40 million or something stupid like that.
Yeah. They got to be realistic. Like we're in a bloody pandemic as well. So they got like if they need funds, which I think Brighton do. I think next season is going to be a massive season for Brighton, because teams like Watford and Norwich, I don't think they're going to be one of those clubs that struggles. They're going to get some money in. And they're going to probably bring players up with them. They're going to look at the talent that's been in the Championship, probably sign them. So I think Brighton will, they've not really been that safe this season. So I think they're going to need some sort of money. They want to keep Bissouma, but he's where the money is. He's young, centre midfield. Yeah, I know you got like Lewis Dunk and there's Lamptey, players like that, of course. But I think in midfield is where you can get that sort of money for him because they have that bit of a. You don't get players like Basuma, like you said. Like he is a bit like a sort of party. He can hold that role, but he's also technical going forward. I'm all for Basuma coming. I hope it pays off, and I hope it's not for a stupid fee because, like in terms of outgoing, you said about Bellerin, we're going to need to get. There's a lot of deadwood there as well. Let's quickly touch on the players on loan. Which ones would you like? Is there any you would like to keep, or do you think they're all sort of returning and going out? Because I know we've got obviously Guendouzi, there's Willock, there's Maitland-Niles. Luckily, we got rid of a lot of deadwood in January. I was really pleased at what we did. But do you see a place for Guendouzi coming back next season?
Me personally, man, I'm a Guendouzi fanboy, 100%. Like the kids, obviously, I know people say that his best attribute is his bravery, which isn't the best thing you can say about a player. But you know, his willingness to try certain through balls, pass through the lines. He's good in duels. I believe he's energetic. He works hard. I think his positioning is okay as well. Like I know a lot of people, obviously, it's attitude. You know, obviously, hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard, of course. But I think there's a star in him, man. I really think there's a star in him. Like he's the captain of the French under-21 team. Like other people can see it as well. I know every manager he's come into contact with has had bad things to say about him, which isn't the best testimony. But I think the guy is quality. I think he's certainly better than El Neni, in my opinion. Definitely. 100%, bro.
It'd be interesting to see if like a club, say if Hertha Berlin, from what I've read, you touched on the managers. It's been a bit of a tricky situation with him over there. I know there were some comments where he wasn't happy. I think he just maybe got a bit too arrogant because it's not the sort of style of play he's used to. And obviously around Arsenal, you're around big fish. At Hertha Berlin, I guess he can stand out a bit more, and he has that aggression, like you said, being a young captain. But I think there's room for him as a squad player anyway, at least, because 100%. I like his fightiness as well. Look at this. We've even got a Spurs.
We've got a Spurs fan in here, bro. Kick him out, bro.
He has to make a comment. I mean, at least we're still in Europe. I'll say that. But big up rivalry aside, TV. Anyway, if you haven't, go check them out. But you touched on Xhaka, which I want to bring up as well, because obviously he's not playing in that midfield position at the moment anymore. I just want to get your thoughts on it, because obviously we're going into a massive game tomorrow. He played there on Sunday, so I'm just assuming here. That's all one can do is assume it's going to be the sort of situation that we see tomorrow night. What have you thought of him at left back?
To be honest, I think it's testament to him, like in terms of the fact that he can actually play there and give his all. I think Arteta said that he's one of those guys that he can rely on. He's a soldier. That wherever he's called upon, you can rely on him. And I give him credit for playing in that role. It's unfamiliar. A lot of players will complain. Like I think we even heard about Saka as well. Freddie Ljungberg said that he wanted to play him at left back, but Saka didn't want to play there, in fact. So, of course, it's not the most glamorous role, but Xhaka is a warrior. I'll give him that. I'm not his biggest fan, but he's a warrior. But in that left back role, of course, the system's been tweaked a bit. So in terms of like when we're on the ball, obviously he's not overlapping like Tierney is. So he's back a bit. And it turns to like a back three. So whoever the two other centre backs are, they stay back as well, which is okay. It's cover for him because obviously he's not as exposed. But I think we've seen in the games against Everton and Villarreal, of course, when Richarlison had him 1-on-1, he spun him for the goal. And obviously, maybe another day, if Leno didn't put the ball in his own net, we wouldn't be talking about it. But he got spun for that. And then against Villarreal for the first goal, Chukwueze came inside on him. And obviously, maybe he thought Ceballos would help him out, but Ceballos was also useless in that duel. So he went past both of them and they scored their first goal. So I think it's a bit of a liability. And I also think his importance in midfield, man. Like, I obviously think Partey's our best midfielder, but Xhaka alongside him helps so much in terms of ball progression as well. I cannot see El Neni in midfield tomorrow, like 100%. I cannot take it. So
this is the problem. This is the problem, though. This is where we're... sorry to butt in, but it just gets me angry. This is where we are so lacking in midfield. And I get he has had so many mistakes, Xhaka. And I know, his good performances, but he needs to be consistent. But I just think when he's not in that midfield, we see it. And we see what's missing. And like we were just touching on transfer targets, this is our problem on the left-hand side. We're going to need to find a left back because,
Yeah.
Kieran Tierney's become one of our most injury-prone players by far at the moment. I mean, I can't think of a full season like where he's had it. He's not had one. He's barely had a full 2 months without getting injured. So that's another place where we're going to really need to consider getting someone. Is in that second left-back position. But Ceballos is out, so we're looking at either El Neni or bringing Xhaka back in. That's all we can do. And it's like, you can't really throw Xhaka back into the midfield in a game as important, because that would just mean Cedric coming in. I don't know what's happened with him at the moment.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm a bit speechless.
Yeah, what has Cedric done? I know obviously he's not a left back; he's a right back. But what has he done so badly in that role that for Xhaka to be played ahead of him, and we're taking Xhaka out of our midfield? Like, I know Cedric played against Southampton twice from left back, and the first game he wasn't that great, but the second game in the Premier League he was great. He was springing balls like Pirlo and everything. Like he was good. And for me, the drop off in quality between Tierney to Cedric is less than it is from Tierney to Xhaka, in terms of, obviously Xhaka can't offer you that overlap at all. At least Cedric can at least try to attempt it. We're literally hindering ourselves in attack in build up down that left hand side. And you saw in the first game against Villarreal where, you got Xhaka as a makeshift fullback, and you're asking Ceballos for some reason to cover the whole left channel to track runners, like track the right back. It was suicide. Like, you saw how that what's his name? That Spurs reject. What's his name? Juan Foyth or something like that.
Oh yeah. The funny thing is, I slandered him. I thought, come on, Pepe, get at him. Come on, absolutely get at him. I was slandering him, like thinking, this should be an easy job. And it was absolutely ridiculous. Like, I bet he had a right good laugh after that, because he was probably messaging all his, former Spurs buddies saying, smashed it. It was just embarrassing. I completely agree with that. That's the problem with Xhaka being there as well in that position. He hasn't got the pace to even help Pepe when he needs to, or whoever's on that left-hand side. Martinelli, like we saw even against Newcastle, Martinelli had to run back and help him. He did a good job of that. Actually, but we need that sort of thing in a left back. We don't need to sort of rely on our left wingers to run back every time. You need a bit of pace. I know sometimes you can get your 6'4" left backs, but they've still got a little bit of pace about them. Xhaka's got grit, but it's just a yellow card waiting to happen all the time.
Exactly, bro. Exactly, 100%. And I think Emery. I think maybe the first time Emery didn't think that Xhaka will play there, so maybe they didn't target as much. But I think the second leg, if he knows 100% that he sees Xhaka starting as a left back, they're going to go at him way more. Like that Juan Foyth, last time he was doing underlapping runs, so he was running out of centre backs. But this time, you're going to get too crazy running on the inside. If Juan Foyth is still fit, he's going to be on the outside. They're going to be bombing down that side, man, 100%. So we can't put ourselves in that position, man. It's a European semi-final second leg. We can't.
It's a tricky one as well, because I think what annoys me, we have to win. I hate being in the situation where we need a win. Like, I would have been quite comfortable with the away goal, and we know at least we get 1 or 2-0. But the situation we're in now is like, and I can't see us keeping a clean sheet. But they've got some good players there as well. Like we see Alcessa and Moreno there. Alcessa's back now. He's one of their top dogs. I want to. There's obviously been some training and press conferences going on this week. We saw the same last week with. I think it was seen as mind games, and it ended up apparently being so. Because we barely saw half of the players that we were expecting to see. For example, what we've touched on with Xhaka being at left back. What can you see anyone actually coming in? Because like we see there, Kieran Tierney is supposedly training and fit. What do you make of this stuff? Because they're putting photos out here, and we're obviously getting a bit excited, getting a bit agitated, because we're thinking, right, he's in training. Do you think it? Well, it's not even a case of traveling, but do you think he'll be in the team sheet anywhere tomorrow? Because he'll be a vital player if he is.
I think it's down to I think I got two little theories. Maybe they're completely wrong, but the first theory is that this, the Bruno Maserati guy, the new physio, either this is going to sound silly, either the guy is giving Arteta some fake updates about these guys in terms of their fitness and recovery, or the second one, which I think is a bit more plausible, is that Arteta, he likes to overthink certain things. In terms of the first game, obviously we lined up with a false 9. I think he did that on purpose, just to confuse Emery, just to throw him off his guard. And I think with all the stuff he was saying last week about, Lacazette, Luiz, Tierney, all of them could be in contention for the next game, and none of them were. I think it was literally mind games, man. It's literally just to throw Emery off his guard. And I think this one as well, I don't. Tierney might make the bench. I definitely don't think he'll start, man. I don't think Arteta's quite cautious and pragmatic in that way. He definitely won't.
It's like G says here. It just encourages the meltdowns before the game even begins.
Exactly.
It's chaos. It was chaos last week. And what you touched on with the false nine, Pepe was out wide on the left the entire 90 minutes, where he should have been put in the first place. And there was no one in the middle. I mean, no wonder we lost the game. There wasn't even a striker there. Like Pepe was out on the left, and I thought, okay, you've obviously just not got the memo. But I mean,
no, he did it because he literally just saw Man City the other day play with a false nine, played with Kevin De Bruyne at a false nine. So he just thought, look, I've got ESR,
copy that,
Kroid and KDB. I'll just play him as well. Like it was. I don't know, man. You can't be experimenting in a European semi-final.
I like Smith Rowe, but that's too much of a gamble in my opinion. He's nowhere near ready to be that false nine position. So we'll get I'm going to get your prediction of your lineup then. But obviously this is not what he's going to do. So obviously Leno in goal or different. It's got
100%. Yeah, 100% Leno, man. He's our best keeper.
Who you having out right back?
Right back. Some people may not like this, but I think you got to bring back Bellerin. I think Bellerin is.
He played well against Newcastle. We didn't really have any threats against him, but I mean, it's a game where he can shine, and we've got to put him in that shop window if we're going to sell him. Otherwise, we'll end up losing even more money. So yeah, I back that, but I can see why people would disagree because he's not played. And I suppose the back line is where you've got to have stability, but he knows the players the way I see it. And yeah, whoever he plays out wing, he should sort of know what to do. But yeah, I know people are still behind him. Like Danny, he's a host on the show. Big up Danny. But yeah, so we'll go with your two centre halves.
See, I know. Obviously, Luiz. Apparently, Luiz might be in contention for tomorrow. Is what I'd say. I don't believe that again. So it's going to be either Holding or Chambers. Like me personally, and like this is maybe just my expectations, but I like Chambers a lot. I think he's quite good on the ball. He's not the most athletically pleasing, but on the ball, technically, I think he's quite decent. He can pass out from the back. I think he'll be better than Holding, but 100%, I think Arteta would choose Holding because Arteta is very big on that kind of seniority. He likes the ranks, that ranking at Arsenal. So Holding will start for sure.
Yeah, I think with Chambers, it was quite interesting to see him come on for Luiz on Sunday as well. I know I touched on this on another channel. Because obviously, I think it was, I don't know what was going on there, whether it was just a test for Thursday, because obviously, usually, I mean, he had Holding and Marie on the bench. So when I saw Chambers come on for an injured Luiz, I thought, oh, okay, we're trying something new here. But yeah, Chambers has always been able to play in that sort of role as well. He's versatile. He can play centre defensive midfield, centre back, or right back. So yeah, I think I'd be quite happy with either of those, to be honest. But who's going next to him? Gabriel?
Yeah, man. For me, Gabriel, 100%, man. I know Mari's been solid since he's come, and I think last week was probably his first, maybe subpar performance. He looked like a deer in the headlights sometimes. His positioning was all over the place, man. He was getting run around and dragged out of position by that Moreno guy.
Yeah.
He was backing off a lot when people were coming towards him. It wasn't encouraging, to be honest, man. So for me, I just go with Gabriel. He's our most aggressive defender. Fastest defender, best 1v1 defender. You got to give it to him, man, 100%.
And obviously, left back we've already really touched on, but it's a tricky one for me. The way I see it, at the moment, if it weren't such a serious game, I'd just chuck that Joe Lopez in there. Because at the moment we need Xhaka in the midfield. But
I think.
Would
Cedric,
you go with Jack? You think Cedric, but you can understand the thing with Xhaka, can't you? Because he's been playing there. It makes sense to keep that sort of stability role. But it is a bloody tough one. It's because then we're going to go into midfield now, and we're going to see exactly why Xhaka shouldn't be put there. But I hope it's Cedric. I hope you're right. Arteta would be really changing my mind on him at the moment if he does that, because even though Cedric's not played, he can do it. He can do a job. And yeah, just like Rich says here, big up Rich, created our intro and he's got some great stuff over there and over again. So go check it out. He said, I've not started to see, not the time for experiments. Yeah, that's a good point.
That's fair. Yeah, that's fair. if I'm blaming Arteta for experimenting in the first leg, then of course,
then he just goes and does like eight experiments in the second leg. Yeah, sod it. Right, wide left.
Wide left. So for me, it's Pepe, man. I'm putting Pepe there.
Europa, he just stands out for me. I think he's the threat, and I think he can. Hopefully, this game he will come at Foyth like we've seen he can do with right backs, because Foyth's not the fastest in the world. So if we can take that turn, fair enough, albeit. So we'll go to centre midfield. This is where it gets interesting.
Oh man,
so you'd have Xhaka, obviously.
100%, man. It's got to be Xhaka and Partey. That's our best CM pairing. That's our best pivot. It's the best on the ball, best physically. Like, you just have to. That's the hub of your team. So for me, I always look at it and think of in terms of trade-offs, in terms of like the downgrades, like what Xhaka brings to midfield. Like he improves our midfield so much more than either Ceballos or Elneny. And to kind of trade off, you can't have him at left back, suffering at left back, left as as a vulnerability at all. Like, 100%. You got to put Xhaka and Partey in there.
Right, and right wing.
Yeah, right wing. You got to put our star boy Saka. That's the guy. In I know, obviously, the past maybe month or 2 months, he's been a bit off the boil. He looks a bit jaded, a bit tired, but maybe he's been overplayed. But he's our star boy. Like, for the first half of the season, the guy was carrying us like completely, and he's only 19 years old. If he didn't die, I know he died for the penalty in the last game, but
yeah, I think that was obvious with it. I would say penalty, even though I knew it wasn't. But the fact he got given just shows how ridiculous the whole system is. So I'll take it.
Yeah, so if he didn't dive, man, we wouldn't have scored at all that game. So, he's very decisive. Final third. I know people sometimes want to play him at left back, but he's too important to our attack at the moment. He's carrying us at times, so you have to play him on the right.
See, like a lot of people, like here's Rich again. Martinelli will surely play left, Uber centre, Saka right. I mean, it is so harsh on him, really, isn't it? Because he started coming in. We all begged Arteta to start playing him. And he has like sort of had that good experience, and he's you saw the good ball to Aubameyang on Sunday, great finish as well. But I think this is just too big a game for him at the moment. I think Pepe can show whereas Martinelli, it did work against Newcastle, but it's different kettle, isn't it? Because you can't play against an experienced Villarreal side, and I'd like to have him on the bench personally. What about you?
Oh, of course. Listen, Martinelli he's a star boy as well. He's a wonder kid. When you get praise from people like Ronaldinho, Ronaldo, Jurgen Klopp, obviously you're on the right path. Like, the kid is special, but it's just that obviously this season Arteta has tried to manage his minutes in terms of coming back from his first ever long-term injury. And I was one of the people on social media screaming, Arteta, why are you not playing Martinelli? Blah blah blah. But it's different when you're on the other side. You've got to take into account somebody's body in terms of and their mentality as well, in terms of their mindset. So I think he's just managing him. But for me, Pepe, man, like, the guy's averaged a goal or assist like every 81 minutes in the Europa League this season.
Yeah, he's the top scorer in the Europa League now, I think. Yeah, So I mean, that shows that if Pepe's gonna play in any game, it's got to be Europa League.
100%, he has to play.
I think Martinelli's deep down as well, and obviously there's all this talk about him potentially being a centre forward for when Aubameyang and Lacazette were out. I didn't even get your centre forward, but I'm going to guess it's Aubameyang based on the fact he's fit. If Lacazette is fit, we'll see. He'll be another good acquisition from the bench. But the 10 is a tricky one, isn't it? Because you've got Odegaard, we've got Smith Rowe, who we spoke about. What do you make of that? Because Odegaard has been on and off. He's not been fit. There's been a lot of speculation that he's not the player that we sort of thought he was in coming games beforehand. Do you think it would be the right player? Because I think him and Lacazette together is a complete different situation to when you play Odegaard and Aubameyang. I think you just see more out of him. What's your take on it? Who would you have in that number 10?
Oh, it's tough, man, because they're two completely different types of players. I think they're both obviously technically secure, and I think that's why you've seen Arteta play Smith Rowe on the left sometimes when Odegaard's in the middle. Like, he wants both of them on the pitch. He wants that kind of Fabregas, Nasri dynamic, that kind of quick 1-2 passing in the final third. But the thing about ESI, he's always on the move. He's like one touch go. That's his movement drags players out of position, while Odegaard kind of like drifts onto the right. He likes to see that final ball. And if you've got Aubameyang up front and you've got Aubameyang making runs in behind, like we saw last game, he was on for 5 minutes and he already had a chance, literally like
Yeah,
in 5 minutes. So if you got Aubameyang up front, man, I think you need someone who has those final balls in him. So for me, I'd start Odegaard. I love ESR, I love ESR, but just for that movement of Aubameyang, someone's got to feed him. Like we can't complain that Aubameyang's not scoring if we're not going to create chances for him, you know?
Yeah, I think that's the strongest line. What you've put out is the strongest lineup, definitely. It does suck for people like Gabby and Smith Rowe, but look at having that on the bench. If it's not going as well as we want in the first 45 minutes, this is the problem with Arteta as well. Though he makes a change too late, and it frustrates the hell out of me because he's not the only manager to do it. So many managers just make these changes late on, 68th minute. To me, I don't see that as enough time to change the game. It has happened on occasion, but we get 5 subs in Europa as well, I thought.
With that, apparently, so I know Wenger apparently used to like the 70th minute. Apparently, it was something to do with like sports science in terms of like the body's recovery or something like that. Like in terms of the optimal time is to come on for 20 minutes. I don't know, it's something weird like that. But with Arteta, I don't know, maybe you have different feelings, but I get the sense sometimes that he just wants to be proven right. Like even if he's put up the wrong lineup and it's going wrong, like last week it was, he leaves it too late. Like he wants to be proven right and he doesn't want to show that he was wrong at all.
Yeah, so he waits to the last minute and then he realizes, right.
Exactly. Why? It's too late. Like why did it have to happen that Willian and David Luiz had to be ill for him to start playing ESR and Martinelli in that Chelsea game? Why do things have to happen before you react? Like, can't you be proactive before being reactive, So
it frustrates me. But I mean, if we've got those two on the bench, and even if Lacazette is fit to be in there, I'll tell you what, I'm quite happy. As long as we sort of do it at the right time, we got enough. I'm going to get your score prediction as well. I know this is probably tough because it's home, innit? Our home form has been reckless. I mean, if we'd have been away second leg, I'd have been a lot more confident. And I never thought I'd say that, but there's a lot going on as well. Like you got the protests and stuff at the moment. So I don't know.
Oh boy, it's tough, man. Because in the league we've lost like more games at home than we've won. Like it's been shocking this season, man. Like the Emirates used to be a fortress for us, but now any team can just roll up here and just get the result they need. But I want to say 2-0, but to see us keep a clean sheet, I don't know, man. I'm really not sure about a clean sheet at all. Like I feel like it might go 2-1 and then extra time, and I don't know who's going to win it.
Oh God! Oh, I'll tell you what, I'm gonna need to sink a lot of drinks tomorrow if that happens. I've said 3-1, and I'm kind of hoping that plays out because we've got the team there to score goals. I think you're right. I don't think we'll keep a clean sheet. Just depends all on the lineup as well and what we see. Because if we get exposed on the back, if it goes how we think, and we've got Xhaka on the left, I kind of agree with Bellerin on the right because Chambers is like a mixed bag. I think he's had good performances, but also he can't. I think him being exposed is it's going to be inevitable against Villarreal because their wingers have got a bit of pace about them. Not just Chukwueze on the left. I can't remember the other lad. I think usually it's I'm guessing if Alcesa's playing, I'm guessing Moreno will be out wide as well. So it's sort of, or it'll be a 4-4-2, and it's just like Chambers hasn't got it in him as much as Xhaka, really. So at least Bellerin, I mean, he can fuck up as well, Bellerin, but I've a little bit of faith in him to have the experience. I know he's lost a yard since his injury, but it'll be a good way for him to impress the fans as well and show us like what we're going to miss. Yeah,
because you mentioned just before you mentioned about the protests outside. Apparently I saw on Twitter today. Apparently I think they want to change it to
bus or something, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly that. Welcome the bus, and maybe if you're outside while the game's going on, like creating an atmosphere.
What's your thought on it? Will you be? Did you attend the one on not last Friday before?
No, I couldn't get off work, unfortunately.
What's your thought on protest tomorrow? I mean, I'm a bit 50-50 on it.
Are we playing at home literally on Saturday? This
is my point. I think we should just leave them to league games. After what we saw at Man United, and we've got some good. I think I've got enough confidence in our fans to keep it legit, no violence. But there is also some out there that can get. They might be like, "Oh, Man United get on the stadium. I want to get in our stadium." Do you get what I mean? Like they want to do one up on us, sort of thing. It seemed like that's what they were doing last. Like it seemed like United went, "Oh, we'll go one step further." I mean, and then obviously I didn't even get it as well because they made a big point on Sunday how Man United has spent like 700 million in the last 7 years or something stupid. So it's like, what are you even moaning about? You've spent tons of money. But yeah, tomorrow is, if it doesn't get out of hand, all for it. But I think the bus idea is a good one because it's showing better morale and we need team spirit.
Do you know what people are saying? I saw some funny tweets about maybe we should protest tomorrow, make it like a massive protest, get violent and stuff, and get the game cancelled until, Tini's back and everything, and Lacazette is back, and all those players are back,
Yeah, let's just wait. But then with UEFA, it's different kettle, isn't it? Yeah. I don't think they fuck about. Whereas Premier League, they're not gonna fine a team or anything. I don't know. UEFA, you don't know what they're gonna do.
We might get kicked out.
This is what I mean. What stranger things have happened? Look at the Super League. UEFA could just be like, no, we're not, because. For one, at the moment, I think like they were saying how Man United can't really postpone their they're going to find it hard to squeeze it in because they're playing like every week, and we would be the same. We're playing almost every week as well, so it's like, can UEFA really muck about? I think they'd probably they'd fine us definitely, which we can't afford. We don't want fines any more than we don't know what's going to happen with the Super League yet. Clubs might all get a £200,000 fine at the end of that, but I hope it just stays legit.
Yeah, man. I think UEFA don't mess about. They're on crud. They would kick us out probably, or just fine us a massive fine. But I think obviously if the fans keep it peaceful, just make their points heard. I think last week, the week before actually was amazing, man. The images went worldwide. Like it was a beautiful protest. And I think fans have that right, man. Like Arteta said as well, like the fans have their right to express their opinion. We're not happy with Kroenke. We're not happy how he takes so much money out of the club. He doesn't put money in. In terms of all the top 6 clubs who have owners, were always the least with the least amount of investment in the transfer window. Cool, yeah, it's nice that you bought Partey last year and you bought whoever it was the season before. But it's only been the past couple of years where you started to put your own money in rather than us having to sell players to buy. It's pathetic, man. Wenger all this time was covering for these owners, man. These cowardly owners. We can't have this anymore, man. So hopefully all these, these rumors of Spotify owner Daniel Ek and everything. Hopefully it's true. Who knows?
Yeah, and the Invincibles as well. It was so good to hear Henry actually backing what was going on, because at first I thought it was all just crap speculation. But when you hear Henry actually talking about it, it's sending a message, the king has spoken sort of thing. So we'll see what happens to that. Before we wrap up, there'll be some people watching that haven't seen your stuff. So just tell them a little bit about what you do.
Yeah, man. No, don't worry. I'm nothing special, really. I'm just the Arsenal Twitter account. My other account got suspended, so I've got a new one here. A Presser V2. Come follow me. We can chat. We can have debates. Sometimes I do the little Twitter Space feature where you can do live chats and everything. Sometimes we do that before and after games or in the midweek whenever there's big news. So come follow me. Let's chat. Let's debate. And I promise I won't be too annoying.
Love that. But yeah, definitely go check Arsenal Presser out. You can find him also on our Twitter account as we've been tweeting along. For those of you that watched, thank you. Make sure to hit that button and subscribe. And please, again, do go on Twitter and check out Arsenal Presser. We've got some good stuff on there. We will be back tomorrow night. We'll be discussing the Europa League and potentially all English finals across the board. We shall see tonight. But yeah, our giveaway has been done, so look out for that on Sunday night. The winner will be revealed. Keep tuning in. Thank you again, Arsenal Presser, for coming on board. It's been a good chat, mate, and we'll hope to see you guys soon.
Thank you, bro. Peace.
Cheers, mate. You take it easy.
Nice one.
Henry. What a goal! Inspiration for Arsenal. Here's Ozil. Lacazette. Ozil! Arsenal are walking in a winter wonderland. Tierney, great goal! What a magnificent goal